In Hotspot Seafood and Sports Bar, 7365 West Colonial Drive, on the corner of Colonial and Dorsher Road. Call 407-757-2165 and tell them Full Court Press sent you.
Welcome to Late Night Parents. I'm your host, Ted Hicks. We have a weekly podcast where we sit down and talk with game changers in the sports, technology, education fields. We even do product reviews and giveaways. Why, you ask? Because we're all parents. So if you're ready for an up-close and personal look, then you can check out our podcast. New episodes are available every Thursday. Catch us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. That's Late Night Parents. The site is latenightparents.com.
How I'm supposed to love you if you cannot love yourself? Yeah, I know you independent, but you still gon' need some help. I still got love for the ones I lost. I never got a chance to return that call. I've been out of town, I left that summer in the same damn car. I ain't made it that far. Yeah.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Marcellus Javon, head designer for Hoop Culture. I'm kicking it right now with 1080 The Game Sports Talk. Make sure you check out the Hoop Culture flagship store located in Fashion Square Mall, right below the movie theater, for your chance to win free Magic tickets and come kick it with the team. Also, make sure you follow us on IG and Twitter at Hoop Culture and download our free app available for Androids and iPhones.
We are back for Full Court Press Radio, sponsored by SOFOELC on Sports Talk 1080 The Team. I'm your host, Dane Thompson, checking in tonight with Paul Myers and Marc Johnson at NBAFCPRadio.com, Zach Oliver, Orlando Pinstripe Post, and our good friend Eric Lopez, who's also man of the boards. And also, he also hosts one of the wonderful shows on Sports Talk 1080 Team. Eric, what's the name of the show again?
Sports Talk Florida Insider Show airs 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturdays.
With the always loud and boisterous Carson Engel.
Well said.
Yes, Carson was here earlier today, so big shout out to our good friend Carson. As we're going to break, we were talking about fixing the NBA All-Star Game, and we haven't heard from Marc on this one. Marc, in your opinion, how do you fix the NBA All-Star Game?
You dunk coaches for the dunkers. You know, I seen a video with 100 dunks that haven't been done in the NBA All-Star, NBA Slam Dunk Contest history, right? Mm-hmm. You had a guy, Mission Impossible, right?
Okay.
Jordan,
yeah.
I'm forgetting his last name. He came out the stands in shoes and jeans and street clothes, right? And did a dunk that was never in the NBA dunk contest. So I'm just like, dunk coaches, that guy, Team Flight Brothers, you know what, practice with some of these guys that's in there and then have a real dunk contest. And that's how you do it.
I don't know why the first image that came to my head when he said dunk coaches was a dunk tank with Popovich sitting there with someone dunking him. I don't know, man. That's the first thing that came to mind.
And speaking of that, did you guys watch the game on Sunday night where you saw the players' reaction when Kingman did that dunk during the commercial, during the timeout?
I tell you, the TNT's got a show coming. The Kings of Dunk, I think it is.
I've heard about that.
That looks like it's going to be phenomenal. If it's got guys like that on it, I'm going to have to check it out.
So, Marc, but here's the question for you. Now, we talked about the dunk contest, but how would you fix the actual game itself?
Shoot, you know what, though? I'm going to say like this. In baseball, right, you know what they bet in baseball when they, do the All-Star game? They bet home field advantage in the finals or in the World Series.
Yep.
Guess what? Doesn't matter what your record is, right? If you don't win this game, the other team's getting home court.
Yep.
So Golden State, say if they did it this year, Golden State, y'all won about 70-something games. But say if the East won, guess what? Y'all going on the road and play y'all first two games.
I like it, but I don't at the same time. In baseball, I think the injury concern is a little less in an All-Star game as opposed to an NBA All-Star game. Maybe I'm wrong, but just my initial thought. So if the players are going out there and going real hard for a home court advantage, I don't know. I think there's just a potential injury risk there.
Well, I got one way to fix this thing. I watched the Western Conference score 196 points, and I watched Stephen Curry hit a regular three-point shot from about 50 feet to end the game. Here's how you fix this problem. You call Sprite. You call T-Mobile. You call any of these NBA corporate sponsors. Call Kia. I don't care who you call. Mm-hmm. You get a briefcase, and you put $1 million in the briefcase. You put it at center court. East or West, winner take all, you split the money. MVP of the game, an extra $50,000. And then the NBA matches the $50,000 for charity of the player's choice. What do we all know motivates players? It's money.
Yeah. I see your point here. Now, let's think about the guys that are in the All-Star game. Mm-hmm. They're mostly the highest paid players in the NBA for the most part. I mean, there's exceptions, but these guys are all multimillionaires per year. So I don't know that splitting $1 million between, I think it's 10 guys?
12.
Splitting $1 million between 12 guys is really that enticing for them.
You put $1 million in cash. And then you have the ability to flaunt that cash in front of other guys who don't have it in their hands.
We're talking less than $100,000 a person.
Okay, you can make $100,000 per winning member of the team. It doesn't really matter. You put cash in front of guys. Mark, see if you agree with this one. You put cash in front of anybody, it'll fix things. Because the only defense we saw Sunday night was the Western Conference attempted to play defense in the final 2 minutes to make sure Paul George doesn't get the scoring record. Mark.
I think personally, that $1 million thing that you're talking about, I think it works really, really well with the individual competition. Like, look, skills challenge, 3-point, dunk contest, whoever wins get $1 million. I think it works very well with that. I think that would actually get some of the stars that actually enter. Like, get another $1 million for entering the dunk contest? All right, and I just got to win it. Cool. Now, for the All-Star game itself, I don't know if that will work. But for the individual competition where one man walks away with $1 million cash, oh, yeah, I think that'll work.
I agree with Mark there.
I don't know, but I just think the fact that if you put money in front of anybody, it motivates them to win.
Listen, for me, $100,000, yeah, absolutely. I'm going out there and playing as hard as I possibly can. But for these guys who make $100,000 over the course of a couple games, I don't think they stress it.
So, because the thing is, we want our All-Star game to be competitive. Like, last couple years, it really hasn't been competitive. Unless it's the last time I remember an All-Star game really being competitive, or something memorable for me, was the game in Washington where, Marc's boy Allen Iverson and Stephon Marbury put on probably one of the greatest shows in the fourth quarter to bring the Eastern Conference back with a completely small lineup against the West.
Yeah, it was fun to watch.
That was fun to watch because those two guys were making sure the East was not going to lose that year.
Or at least not lose like they were going to, yeah.
Oh, I think was it, Mark, correct me, didn't Iverson bet everybody on the row that they were going to win that game and was willing to put cash money on it?
Yeah. Well, that's what that guy does. I have a lot of those different stories that I will not share on the air, but he's a betting man. Let's just say like that. And that's one of those stories. But, yeah, that actually was true.
Well, we're going to transition off the All-Star game a bit. We've talked about All-Star weekend completely. Now, we've left Toronto. The jersey ceremony happened. Charlotte will have the game in 2017. For me, as you look ahead 1 year from now, 2017's All-Star game, it kind of dawned on me this morning. This is going to be the Stephen Curry Love Fest in Charlotte next year.
Of course.
And doesn't everybody know, I think Stephen Curry can opt out of his contract in 2017?
Don't even do it. See, now you're spinning wheels that don't need to be spun.
I'm just saying, it's going to be a love fest.
Curry's not going to Charlotte.
Mike. Eric, mute his mic.
Yeah, Eric, cut him off. He's done.
Don't let him talk anymore.
Mark, are you starting to feel me on this one?
Jordan's still the guy who runs the team, right?
Simply put.
Yeah. Wizards, Charlotte, hey,
Yeah, Danny, I wouldn't get too excited about that. We know you're a Hornets fan, but I wouldn't get too excited about Curry joining the hometown Hornets. I just don't see it happening.
All right, guys, one more quick thing on the All-Star game. Maybe, okay, if you guys like the $1 million idea, what about this? What about putting the defending champions to get a team full of All-Stars?
No.
Like the Golden State Warriors set the record. You put the Warriors team from last year.
Okay.
I'm just asking.
We're going to mute Danny because Danny's just on something tonight, man. Get out of it. Where did that come from?
I don't know. It's just an idea.
It's a horrible idea.
Danny, were you hitting that tequila before we started the show?
I'll tell you, man.
No. Just drinking some water from our lovely studio over here in Orlando.
Yeah, that was water, I bet.
Hey, guys, we're kind of in NBA lull for the next couple days. There's no games until Thursday, so we're pretty much talking All-Star game. We're talking trades.
Yeah.
We had a couple trades today. We'll go in deeper with Steve Kyler in our next segment about stuff that's going on. Let's talk about the stuff that's actually happened today real quickly. we're not going to talk about Orlando's trade because Zach is going to get to that in a minute.
We can talk. We can say what happened.
Yeah.
So go ahead and explain the trade, and then we'll
Nothing
go into
happened.
detail later. I mean, that's a good way to say it. Yeah.
Well, the Orlando Magic trade Tobias Harris to the Detroit Pistons for Brandon Jennings and Ersan Ilyasova. Also today, the Charlotte Hornets acquired Courtney Lee in a 3-way deal that sent Birdman and some second-round picks.
2 second-round picks.
2 second-round picks to Memphis, and it sent Brian Roberts to Miami.
And P.J. Harrison is also
P.J. Harrison's also
Memphis.
going to Memphis.
Yep. And with 2 other second-round picks. I don't know what Memphis is doing with 4 second-round picks, but I guess that's what they wanted.
Second-round picks are good currency. I mean, you get guys that on unguaranteed deals.
I get it. It's a way to not spend money. I mean, I understand that,
but then you can still find a diamond in the rough.
Possibly.
Now,
It's a gamble. Yeah, it's a free gamble essentially.
Team Jerry West is a part of. He's the only one that seems to know what to do with them.
That's a good point. I mean, him or I mean, you got to give San Antonio credit as well.
Yeah, them too. But some teams don't deserve any second-round picks or any picks out of a lot.
Like
of
Philadelphia?
them, to be honest with you.
I mean, Mark, do we trust them?
I mean, for like Philadelphia, they don't deserve it. But Jared Colangelo might change that. We'll see.
I hope so, man. You know what? I like what Philly's doing, and I think they're gonna be all right.
Now, Mark, Zach did say second-round picks are good currency nowadays. If you're Memphis, a team that's probably going to be in transition, Mike Conley's a free agent. Zach Randolph is getting up there in age. They still have Marc Gasol a long period of time. Do you think those second-round picks, especially in the case of Memphis, not going to talk about Miami here, right. In the case of Memphis, adding P.J. Harrison, adding second-round picks, do you think that's a good enough value for a guy like Courtney Lee who has been contributing for this team for a while?
Well, let's be honest. I mean, with Marc Gasol gone, I mean, what chance do they really have in the West? I don't think they had much of a chance with a healthy Gasol. So, I mean, without Gasol, they're in trouble. So, I think it is time to start moving some pieces. I'd even be exploring Jeff Green trade options, see who's out there willing to offer me some currency, as Zach would say. Just basically any assets that doesn't involve me taking on salary is what I'd be looking for if I'm Memphis right now.
Now, Mark, like I said, we're talking second-round picture. For example, in this draft, Mark, do you find any quality guys that you would find in the second round? Since you do a lot of draft exploring.
You're looking up and down the draft boards, and I'm just like, he's in the second round? Wait a minute, he's in the second round? I mean, you're talking about guys like Louisville's Damian Lee, Iowa State's Georges Niang. I'm like, these guys in normal drafts are first-round guys. I don't know why they're in the second round to begin with, but they're according to these draft boards, they're there. So I was just like, this is kind of the draft to have second-round picks. I want to see how many Golden State's going to have. That's what I'm entertained about.
Yeah, but one thing on the guys that you mentioned, they're seniors. There's a certain shelf life that it seems like NBA teams look for with players, especially in the first round. They try to draft young. I mean, you don't see as many seniors getting drafted as you might have, 10 years ago?
I don't know. I'm under the old school mantra: if you can play, you can play. I mean,
I completely agree with that.
I'm like, I get what teams are trying to do. They're trying to go young. Maybe we can hit this guy. He's 19. We can develop him the way we want to develop him. But guess what? If he doesn't have the talent, if he doesn't have, the ability, I'm just like, you're just drafting the guy. Or if you stash him overseas, I mean, that's another thing. But I don't know. To me, the second round is for GMs that know what they're doing. And GMs who really don't care about the second round. That's why they sell draft picks and they, pick whoever, Sam Hinkie, but sorry to throw him under the bus, but that's what he did. So that's kind of how that rolls.
Interesting thought on that one, guys. Before we head to break on this one, the Basketball Hall of Fame announced their finalists and legitimate candidates on, I think it was Saturday, out in Toronto. Headlined by Allen Iverson, Shaquille O'Neal, and Yao Ming. Guys, real quickly, I'm going to pass it around. Do all three guys get in first ballot? Paul, start with you.
I don't have enough time to go into my rant.
Just set you up for one?
I'm on record as being a disbeliever in the Basketball Hall of Fame. It's not strict enough. They restrict a guy like Chris Webber and let in a guy like Mitch Richmond. I'm confused by what they do. So, yes, I'll say all three get in because I could get into the Basketball Hall of Fame.
But are they first ballot Hall of Famers is the question?
Man, what's it matter? It's Basketball Hall of Fame. Yeah, all three.
Mark, first ballot Hall of Famers, those three guys.